Okay, everyone, so I'm going to talk about working remotely, working from home, some of the tips about how to make it efficient. But before doing that, I'd like to talk about an issue that I've realized in the last 1 or 2 weeks, and it's quite incredible, and that's the hypocrisy that has gone into this issue. What I mean by that is, I can remember when I started working at home, it was literally going back now about 6 years. It was 2014. I started working not every single day from home, but quite regularly. And then from 2016-17, I've been working from home. So I've been working from home mainly now for about 4 years. And I always found working from home can be very productive. So for example, in 2014, the reason I started working from home more is I started to realize that if I work from home, as long as I did certain things, I would get more done. Even though I did have an office to go to, I was going to the office maybe once a month, once a week. It would depend, but basically I got more done out of the office once I got used to working from home. But the interesting thing is, I met so many people who said, oh, it's not professional to work from home, or it's not safe, or some clients would say, oh, well, you know, I like you, whatever, but you know what, working from home, it doesn't really seem professional compared to a big flash office. Now, don't get me wrong. The world has changed. Even before the virus, the world's changed a lot compared to even 5 or 6 years ago. These days, because of apps and whatever, more and more people, even before this was happening, were seeing the benefit of doing things online, cheap, efficient. I mean, what's the first thing we do these days? We Google, we buy things online. Whereas 6 years ago, it was really only, yeah, it was starting to happen, but it was more like the big companies, Amazon and so on. It wasn't often the go-to place. But what I'm finding in the last week or two, and it's quite incredible, is some people I know as well who used to be skeptics about working from home. They're doing things like releasing videos saying, oh, how to work from home, or all these things. And it's hypocrisy, right? Because they were advocating literally as recently as 6 months ago, a year ago, that basically, you know, you shouldn't be doing this, and business is best done face to face, and all this kind of thing, right? And I remember when I did a video 6 months ago, and I put it in the description here, where I'm talking about the challenges and the benefits of working remotely. You know, I think it got 1 or 2 people giving the thumbs down, whatever, which doesn't usually happen in any of my videos, which shows that actually those traditional business models were actually very, I would say, deeply ingrained into most cultures. Now, again, that has changed a lot in the last 5 or 6 years. Look at a country like China. China used to be very conservative. It used to all be about what they call guanxi, which is like social networking. Whereas now, cash is almost not used at all. People are just on their smartphones and whatever. And many people don't, you know, in normal situations, not just the virus, just don't meet people face to face to do business. And that's becoming more and more the norm. And amongst younger people, I think many of them do 100% of their things remotely, regardless of this current virus. But you know, it's incredible how many people are jumping on the stay-at-home bandwagon or the working remotely bandwagon. Many people saying, oh, it's environmentally friendly, it's more efficient, it's cheaper, blah, blah, blah. So they're making very good points which go beyond this virus. But I was making those points years ago, and some of those people were criticizing me, right? So it's quite incredible. And it reminded me 1 or 2 weeks ago, one of the providers in the financial services industry that I know quite well, I've been challenging them for years, and I've said, come on, you can surely accept things like e-signatures. And they kept saying to me, oh, it would be great, wouldn't it? But our regulators don't allow it. Then suddenly this virus happens, and magically they now allow e-signatures, but there's been no change to the rules. I'm not aware of any changes to the rules that allow it to happen. So it's obviously how they interpreted those rules. And that kind of leads me on to the first point I would make, the first tip for working at home. It's how you interpret this, right? If you come at it with a negative attitude and say, well, the days are going to be long, it's going to be boring, and I'm going to have to stay home all day with my wife or husband or whatever, then obviously it's going to not be that productive. But if you come at it with a positive attitude, you're more likely to get what you get in. Number 2, I actually disagree with some people who say you have to get up early and so on. I actually think one of the big benefits of working at home is that you can sleep more and still get more done. Because if you think about it, most people who start work at 9 o'clock need to wake up at maybe 6:30, 7:30, whatever, to get to work. I think getting into the habit of not setting your alarm and waking up naturally, along as obviously you don't wake up at 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock, I think there's a lot of benefits of that to that, because you're going to be more productive if you're well rested. You can do a hard 12-hour day if you really want to, if you've got enough sleep. And waking up naturally, even if it's 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours, or 10 hours, that means you've got enough sleep, you're well rested, you're ready to go. Number 3, I would say, really focus on just the things that need to be done, and always focus on getting the most important thing done in the day. So let's say, for example, I don't know, you've got a really key issue. Do that straight away. The things that are maybe not huge issues, like, I don't know, admin, do it at the end of the day when your energy levels will drop. Also make a to-do list, a priority list, things that need to get done, not just to do priority list the day before. Look at it in the morning as well. And also say no to conference calls, just like you would to face-to-face meetings if needed. And pretty much following those tips, you can do well, working at home, working remotely. Obviously, it's going to be more difficult for people who aren't used to it, because they haven't got the processes in place, unlike someone who's been doing it for a hell of a long time. But don't feel like you have to make such a big change, and you don't always need to have new software on your phone or focus on new apps. Sometimes voice call is just as good as video, or almost as good as video. You don't need to kind of get yourself in a huff about, oh, I need to download all this new stuff, I need to do this, I need to do that. Just start small. Why don't you just start small with one app, like WhatsApp, Zoom? Just choose one app, go on that app, do all your business meetings on that app, and that should be fine. It can't be like that for everyone, and I know not everyone can work remotely, but that would be a big tip, I would say, for people starting out. Just start out small. Do it small. Production comes over perfection, and then gradually you'll get better and better and better. But if you start small, get better, you'll get used to working from home. And then even if you do decide to go back into an office environment, and I know many people have to go into an office environment, hopefully you'll be more productive in that office environment, because you realize during times like this how much time is wasted when it comes to pointless discussions, politics, gossip, and so on in the office.